Hello, people of no color and no culture. Alright, so I'm going to take you down the path of Weirdsville today. A few months ago, I made a video about an entity that was at the end of my bed, woke me up out of a dead sleep, and was trying to interact with me. And I freaked out on it and started kicking the shit out of it. It's not like I made contact with it, but it kind of looked like this here, except for no glowing in the middle. It was just more glowing around the edges, I guess, and smoky around the outline. No definitive face. There's no face to it. It was faceless. It was two-dimensional, I think. Not three. It was two. Anyway, so I turned around and it left. It knew it wasn't going to be able to interact with me, so it gave up and left. I guess I'm tough like that. I just make these bad things leave. But anyway, so what was this creature? I have no idea. And this video is completely my anecdotal evidence. I'm sharing my anecdotal experience with you. But what is it? You really can't create a good hypothesis until you gather a lot of anecdotal evidence. And so I'm reaching out to see if maybe you guys might have some anecdotal evidence to add to my anecdotal evidence, and then we can create a hypothesis. But now it's just speculation. So I was looking up interdimensional beings and trying to find maybe something interesting. I looked at articles, and I'm not finding the small creator weirdo blogs. I'm finding the larger creators, and a lot of the articles I'm finding are from 2021 and 2022, and some just don't have dates on them, but the ones that have dates on them are 21 or 22. And we all know, I mean, this is not anecdotal, we all know for a fact that we are being dumbed down, and we are being herded into the corral of, it's the current year, it's the current day. They don't want us to remember anything. They don't want us to remember history. They don't want to, because they want everything and everyone to be the same. There must be a lot of money to be made if everybody thinks that they're part of the same culture, part of the same history, And speaking of history, you'll see these people who are of affirmative action status who will say, we once had great civilizations, and I just don't say anything anymore, but these people never had great civilizations. Who had great civilizations? Well, people who are civilization builders, not civilization destroyers. And it's unfortunate that some people just don't realize that their genetics is to destroy civilizations. And, kind of cruel to crush people's hopes, unless they're mean to you. But anyway, so I was looking for interdimensional beings because all right, so now we've had the stupid 19 and the mass hysteria and people thinking that there are new fundamentals to infectious disease. There are no new fundamentals. Water is wet. Grass is green when it rains. Grass is brown when it's either really cold or really dry. So there's no new fundamentals. But stupid 19 tried to make us think that there were new fundamentals as they herd us into this corral of it's the current year. And it's easier to control people who are scared. But there are some people that are pathologically scared, and then there's people who are not. People who will eventually not be afraid anymore. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you've been terrified and whatever. Okay, let me give you an example here. So one time I was in California, this is years ago, I was kayak surfing. I'm just the world's worst kayak surfer, by the way. And I got caught in a wave, and it carried me, I don't know how far, but I screamed like something was trying to eat me. I screamed. I mean, it was like the deepest, terrified scream. And then all of a sudden I stopped because my boat was still moving. I was still right side up. And everybody who was on the water laughed at me. They thought it was hilarious. I wasn't in any danger. And even if my boat would have flipped over, it wouldn't have been a big deal. I just, pull my spray skirt. I have a life jacket on. I'll pop right up. No big deal. I even had a helmet on in case I whacked my head on my boat. And I have whacked my head on my boat before. I don't do that anymore. But, see, the thing is that normal people will stop being scared. But there's this pathological fear. It's like an addiction. It's like a gluttonous addiction. It's like a drug. It's a rush. It's weird. And some people you just can't talk down from the ledge. But anyway, so you keep people in a constant state of fear. So what is the next thing? After Stupid 19, the media, at least, the people that are in control of all the information, they try to tell us that there's new fundamentals out there, even though that we know that there are no new fundamentals. So now you need to be afraid of monkeypox. Well, come to find out, monkeypox is a disease of people of a certain behavioral group. Most people don't interact like that, so they're not going to get this disease. But anyway, so my whole point is that there's going to be another scare. And I've been predicting that this scare is we're going to have an alien invasion. Well, it's kind of hard to have an alien invasion if there are no aliens. So that's where I'm going. And they try to tell us that there's outer space. And they try to tell us that we went to the moon. But how come people aren't going to the moon anymore? How come when you watch the interviews of these people who allegedly went to the moon, they look like they're shamed, but these people, they're part of a group that we aren't a part of. They're different species. And so some of you who are new to this channel go, okay, that's really strange. Well, I warned you ahead of time. Strange. I am a strange person. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Anyway, so I was looking at pictures of aliens, and they don't look like anything I have ever witnessed. And we have all seen interdimensional beings. I can't be the only one that's seen interdimensional beings. And interdimensional beings do not have weird-shaped heads or giant eyes. I've seen an interdimensional being that looked like a giant gnome. But I haven't seen one with really big eyes and a weird shaped head. They look more familiar. And then also, okay, so fake alien invasion to keep us terrified, but then there's so many things going on around us which are really strange. Over the summertime, there was a tornado that hit a township not too far from me. And a few days before that, when the sun would rise at 5 in the morning, 5-ish, 5:30, something in the morning, I would sit outside and watch the sunrise. And it was the weirdest thing. A few days before that tornado hit, it looked like somebody had sliced the sky. And the sky was dark, except for there was this line, and there was illumination coming through this line. It was strange. I love to watch the sunrise. I like to watch the wildlife wake up, everything. And, well, I can't do it right now because the sun doesn't rise until after 7 o'clock. It's so depressing. I just can't wait till after the winter solstice or the whatever solstice is coming up until our days start to get longer. But, so anyway, on the day of the tornado, I drove around to examine the damage, and it was mostly trees that were damaged. And I had a friend who went to her property, and the tornado on one of the trees took off every single limb and left just a stick in the ground. And some of the trees it took down, some of it just took large branches down. But it was really weird how this tornado was selective, because it hit their property. It was selective on what it picked up and what it left behind and what it knocked down. And it wasn't anything like the tornado in northern Kentucky back in December. And local people out here will tell you that a tornado in December is not normal. Because the whole philosophy about tornadoes is, it's hot air and cold air meet, and then it creates these tornadoes. And it's like, okay, if you say so. I don't know. I can't recreate it, so it's hard to believe anything I can't recreate. But what is it? So it was 2022. No, it was 2021. Sorry, December of 2021. Just last December. And this tornado that hit Kentucky went, I believe, 220 miles an hour. And it took out a candle factory. It took out an Amazon warehouse. It took out... what else did it take out? But anyway, the candle factory. I made videos about that because I'd run into some lady at the grocery store who was telling me that her friend and her friend's mom worked at the candle factory, and they were told that if they left, they would be fired. So they stayed, and they died. Awful, just ridiculous. People, and speaking of job, people are choosing their job over their life, especially with this No-19 shot. And anyway, so what else was I? Oh, the trees. So it seemed like the tornado was after the trees. It attacked the trees, and some of the houses. It just it didn't hit my house because I was in a different township, but it hit. When I was looking at it, in some houses it took off the roof, took down the walls, and other houses were untouched. Really strange. And so in the media, okay, believe it or not, in the media they tried to say there were several tornadoes. No, there was only one tornado, and because I read through posts on social media to see what time people said that the tornado touched down and what places, and I was able to draw a straight line. This tornado went in a straight line. It was a linear thing. So obviously the media lies, and they always say three something, is that they're fabricating stories. So it was really strange. Hard to, and then the trees. What is the relationship between tornadoes and trees? You ever see the Chronicles of Narnia and when Aslan comes back and the snow melts and the trees, they are Aslan's armies, allies, and they fight with them, and it's weird. So, speaking of trees, I know this whole video is weird because I'm a weird person. So, have you ever sat down someplace that had a lot of trees and just quietly sat and watched the trees? Or have you been hiking before and all of a sudden there will be no wind and the trees will move? Not like get up and move from one place to another, but I'm talking about the branches. So I've noticed that the trees talk to the wildlife, at least talk to the birds. And they will tell the birds that someone's coming. They will tell the birds if someone's nice. This is it. This is what I'm getting. And I've seen, it's not like I've seen this one time. I've seen this many times where there will be no wind whatsoever and the trees will move. They're, like one branch will start shaking. And there'll be no animal on it moving the branch. The branch is too large for an animal to move it unless it was the size of a bear. A lot of things going on around us, and they want us to think it's the current year. All right, people of no color and no culture, thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your thoughts below.